Hey, this is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Today we're going to talk about 5 warning signs of a bad love affair. I'm going to tell you how to read a guy. Look, if you want to find love these days, you have to swim through a virtual ocean of frogs. They just don't make men like they used to. My wife and I were watching season 4 of Vikings, which is a great historical drama that's on the History Channel right now. And these guys were dysfunctional for sure, but you can't deny one thing. They were men through and through. Unfortunately for women today, wimpy, whiny guys are lurking everywhere, and you need to make sure that you don't clog your life up with one of these losers, which is why I'm going to show you how to spot one of these guys and eliminate him from your life. Sign number 1 to avoid is he's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Now, you shouldn't have too much trouble spotting this guy. He seems to have a split personality. Sometimes he's the alcohol-fueled douchebag who gets amped up after a few too many whiskey sours, or maybe some other kind of self-medication. Sometimes he's the guy that's the super sweet romantic until, well, he gets what he wants from you and gets in your pants. This guy is broken in a fundamental way, and there's very little that you're going to be able to do to rehab him. Always take my advice. Don't take on pet projects that have a penis attached. They're going to disappoint you inevitably. Avoid this guy. Number 2 is the cheating, manipulating guy. The problem with this guy is that he gets his hook in nice and secure before you start to smell what it is he's cooking. He might have sworn to you that he and his girlfriend were just taking a break, but then you find a mysterious pair of earrings in his car. Or maybe he says things that are that things are so bad between him and his wife that the breakup is pretty much guaranteed. The key word here is almost. The real lesson here is that you have to keep your intuition engaged the whole time. Don't let his words sway you if you don't know enough about him yet. When you're in the first 6 to 8 weeks of any romantic involvement, you're both on probation. So remember, you got to keep your eyes open. I get it. When you meet a guy who is at least, he has a slight amount of passion in him and he doesn't come across like a total wuss, you feel like you need to give him one more fair shake. After all, he's kind of rare, right? Just keep your eyes open and protect yourself. Don't let him into your heart. Number 3 is the control freak. Look, as a former control freak, yeah, me, I know how this one works. First of all, as a guy, I come across as very confident, and a lot of that confidence started out as bravado that was stuffed inside a control freak's taco shell, but women ate it up because I stood head and shoulders above 90% of the soft, feminized guys that they were encountering on a day-to-day basis. But this guy can cause some major damage along the way, so you got to be careful. Some of the stuff he might do to you or manipulate you, press your hot buttons about your appearance to control how you feel about yourself. He'll jack with your self-esteem by pressing buttons about your career. He'll usually hit that doubt button quite a bit. He'll manipulate you by telling you you're too sensitive when something upsets you. Hey, maybe you were, but that's not a very compassionate response, right? Or jealousy. This one's really insidious because you'll eat up all the attention and interest that he shows in you, but underneath it's insecurity and fear. Loser number 4 is the immature guy. They used to call this problem the Peter Pan syndrome, where the guy is stuck in boy-man mode. He might be 43 years old, but he's an occasional binge drinker on the weekend, or maybe he's always out playing frat boy with his friends. He'll lure you in with his spontaneity and sense of adventure. He'll pull you out of your rut, which is a good thing, until it's not. Unfortunately, the problem is becoming more of a problem with men these days, this particular kind of problem. It's far easier for most men to sit on the couch with a video game than it is to face the day-to-day grind of everyday life. The guys that are in this situation that are salvageable just need you to kick their ass into gear. Lovingly, not with nagging or berating him because he is where he is. The biggest problem with these guys is probably that his mom coddled him way too much into Doritoville, and that dad who disappeared when he was 6 years old. So he doesn't need another mom, even if that's what he seems to be trying to get from you. He simply needs compassion to be a better man. Bounce that bozo. Number 5 is the raging ego guy. Now, I know it might not sound enlightened, but everyone needs an ego. You need to have a sense of well-being about yourself to function in the world. Very few of us can go live in a monastery meditating away our human condition. And God knows this is a rare thing today with so many other guys just being afraid to start a conversation with you for fear of being arrested for harassment or being rejected. But this guy's ego will start to show some serious flaws, like not being able to shut up about all the things he's done. He'll also find ways to turn the conversation back around to him, and he has to be right all the time. Yeah, men need an ego, probably more so than women in many cases, and you do have to cut him a little bit of slack. But when you see that ego becoming a problem, you got to move on from him. Now, if you want to know how to really connect with the guys that you know would probably be a good catch, maybe some rough edges, you have to understand how his mind works. And I'm not talking about the typical, why do guys do this and that business. Sure, that stuff is important. I've even covered that here, but you need to go beyond the basic level of understanding and get deep into his mind and his heart. Most women don't realize that a man connects with them in a very specific way. When you know a man's connection style, and there's 5 of those total, that's going to reveal a whole other side of him that you didn't even know was there, and it'll allow you to create a deep commitment with him. Hey, it's easy to overlook this if you're not aware of it, but now that you do know of it, you gotta know more. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com/connection code. That's datingadviceguru.com/connection code, where I'll tell you exactly how to figure out his connection style. This is Carlos Cavallo from where else? datingadviceguru.com. I'll be seeing you again soon. As always, live and love with passion, and like this video.